I can't believe they can be scared of this guy and this so-called social media, especially in the case of Arnab, because he will kind of hammer his opinion into your head as the truth. Divya Bharti died. Shame on Shahrukh. Shame on Salman. What the fuck is Salman and Shahrukh got to do with Divya Bharti's death? The underworld actually changed its shape post 93 blasts.
So, Mr. Varma, welcome on Bollywood Hungama.
Yeah.
And so you have tweeted today about making a film on Mr. Arnab Goswami.
Yeah.
Why do you want to make a film on him?
See, the point is, I mean, I just happened to see a couple of shows on him in the ongoing Sushant Singh Rajput issue, you know. And I was shocked to see the way he characterizes Bollywood and making gross generalizations as if he knows the inside out of everybody in Bollywood, sitting in wherever his Republic studio, and he calls them rapists to murderers to gangsters to whatnot, you know. And one thing I couldn't understand, he in his head is connecting somewhere death of Divya Bharti sometime in 95, 94 or something like that. And then Sridevi, and then Jia Khan, and then of course Sushant. And he makes it seem as if all of them are one case and the murder is Bollywood, apparently, you know. So, and like, I realized, like, if someone like a Bharti Pradhan or maybe someone like a Mind Shape, there no such thing as Bollywood. Now, like, you know, Arnab's style is he will never let any other's opinion be heard except for his own opinion. And he pre-decided that there is something about Bollywood which is extremely wrong, bad, monstrous, and he calls it dirtiest and putrid and rancid, all the names. So I was just pretty much upset. And what really shocked me, and after he's saying, and he says, Divya Bharti died and shame on Salman and shame on Shahrukh Khan. What is Salman and Shahrukh got to do with Divya Bharti? It is a very well-known fact that Divya Bharti was drunk and she was sitting on the windowsill and tipped over. And in the presence of costume designer Nita Lulla and her husband, that everybody knows whoever was there at that time, you know. And he makes it like a mystery after 25 years without him even knowing anything about it. So I was shocked that why Karan Johar, Aditya Chopra, all these big guys, why are they not saying anything? And they show the common sense that if in this kind of an allegation coming from one of the premium channels in India, your silence will make it seem to the public like you're accepting whatever he's talking about. I couldn't take that at all. I would respond to something which is happening. I always made realistic films in terms of I take something from what's happening around. And today, the news media is a very, very big part of people's lives. It is constantly feeding the people in terms of information. It is making them take decisions, and it is making them form opinions. And all this is directed by some people. It is not, they might claim that they just want to report, but which is not how it happens, especially in the case of Arnab, because he will kind of hammer his opinion into your head as the truth, you know. So I thought it's high time that needs to be exposed, okay? And the reason mainly I'm doing that is because you can't go to his show. If you go to his show, he does two things. Whenever anyone says opposite to what he's saying, he will shut him off. He'll make a face. And he will send a signal to his viewers that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, or he's beep chuka hai, and he's milloud with the others and blah, 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 you know. Or he just does some dirty tricks like cutting off the audio and things like that. So the only way I can probably do it is if I make a kind of a docudrama on him, you know, and where I kind of dissect exactly his modus operandi and way of operation. Why I think it's important is the fact that he's popular is the reason why I want to make the film, because it's fair enough, people want entertainment, you know, whether it's news or cinema. They want something dramatic. So, but in the name of that, if you're selling malicious lies, and I really don't even know for him whether he has any agenda. I think his agenda is just to look like a hero. He wants to walk in slow motion like Salman Khan and look like the biggest hero of all in the country. To make people feel, because of me, Shahrukh is running scared, Karan Johar is sitting, hiding under the bed, Aditya Chopra is not coming out of his bathroom. This is the kind of a signal is sending. And why they are not reacting at all, I'm dumbfounded about that.
Because there is a perception that when that you are making this film, but when others are silent, why is it that you feel that you should be speaking on anyone's behalf?
I'm not talking on his behalf. He generalized entire Bollywood. And I would like to believe that I'm a part of the film industry and I'm also a part of the same thing. And it's not that as if people are not, speaking. Even they're trying to do that in his show, but no, you can't hear their voice. In fact, I asked a couple of them today morning, why do you guys go to his show? And they are so naive. They told me that we anyway put our 2 bits in, but that is what you are thinking. It doesn't come out like that. Because the moment you are saying a point, he makes a face. And that is intended for the people who are watching, and they are watching Arnab's face, not what you're talking about, because they have no idea what you're talking about. Because you know the industry and you are taking it as the truth. And you are assuming that everybody knows that, which is not the truth. Like when I meet so many outside people, and all of them are saying, this is what Bollywood is. I really never really realized, man. This is how it runs. Because the outside people have no idea. They will take whatever is being told to them. So if there is no other point of view except for Arnab's point of view, for the common public, Arnab is the truth. And this much knowledge, this much common sense, why the Bollywood guys are not able to understand, I'm zapped. Right now, the social media is having, in the context of what's happening now, but that sentiment is stoked by Arnab Goswami. Where did it come from? The general people have no idea what's happening unless someone in the media tells them and gives them a context how to think about it. So that is being stage managed and orchestrated by Arnab Goswami, and then you fall victim for that only. And then you say the nation wants to know, and then you say the people are feeling it. The people are not feeling, you are making them feel that.
But don't you think that there is a sizable number of people who are having these perceptions about Bollywood right now?
Before I came into films, that's 30 years back, always people outside had a certain vision about Bollywood. Sorry, film industry, I'm saying generally, not only Hindi films, Telugu films, all films, like the girls are very cheap and they can sleep with anyone, or they will talk about black money. They'll talk about various, all kinds of nefarious activities, So that is a general impression people have, not because they know it. It's because it seems like that. As an outsider, you are looking at them. You're suddenly seeing a girl doing a dance with exposed clothes. That is not what the outside see. So they will, in their mind, characterize her in a loose way. Then, okay, if she's okay with the taking off clothes, she might be doing anything else for money. That's where the whole system, thinking system comes from. Okay. And then in the 90s, if you look at it, when the so-called whole Bollywood underworld nexus, actually, first of all, Bollywood underworld nexus never happened. Okay. And I'll tell you, because first of all, underworld, anybody wants to connect to the Bollywood is for 2 reasons. One is fame, and second is money. Okay. Now, why would the underworld want to fund a film? If underworld also is to fund, what is the point of being underworld? Most of the time, for them, it used to happen, those big dons used to do favors to their friends by recommending them who are not criminals. You understand? An absconding criminal living abroad in Dubai or Karachi, making a phone call and pressurizing somebody to do a film at the threat of something. So which means they were victims, those guys. Now, the small time guys who probably just for the chelas of buys and all that, but there's no criminal can really put a name once he's recognized by the police of what his things are. Okay. So that whole thing of Bollywood underworld nexus itself is a highly, exaggerated thing. Yes, we saw pictures of Anu Malik and Anil Kapoor with Dawood Ibrahim and all that, but what people don't realize is, at the time it was happening, underworld was not being seen like that. The underworld actually changed its shape post 93 blast. Before that, they were just talked in terms of maybe smuggling, maybe not, and they used to be living like kings in Dubai, and if they're called as and they're not doing any crimes. So though they know that there is something, but they never thought of him. Nobody thought of them as people who go and kill outside and all that, you know. So after so many years, right, you go back on that, say Bollywood already had hand in glove with the underworld. All that is nonsense, which is not true at all. You know? So the moment they did something like the blast, the completely Bollywood distanced itself, even on a social thing. I'm talking about friendship or going to their parties and things like that. And that is when they came upon to, because of the split of Dawood Ibrahim and Chota Rajan and all these other gangs came in. And that created a heightened activity, which you saw the result of that between 97 and 2004. You know, so then they were victims. Okay. So anyway, coming back to this, now my point, the criminal justice system, it has to have a certain procedure. Okay. Now Arnab Goswami says, there are two people in the room of Divya Bharati. Why didn't they stop when she was falling? At least she was drunk. She was sitting on the seat. This is the recorded fact, and this is somewhat widely reported at that time, and it is a statement of Neeta Lula. And then she suddenly tipped over, which used to happen in Bombay quite often, a lot for drunk people tipping over the thing. Okay. Now, Neeta Lula is a costume designer. Husband's got nothing to do with the industry, and nobody else was there in the room at that time. So the police have ruled out foul play. It was neither a suicide, nor was it foul play. It was just a question of accidental death, is what they said. Now, 25 years later, our man says, why was she not stopped? Why didn't they investigate her? What does he mean, why they didn't investigate? Of course, they investigated. At that point of time, in fact, there were conspiracy theories, let me tell you, that Divya Bharati knew that something about the serial blast. You know, because of that, she was silenced. You know, so now, but the general public, probably some of them would have never heard of Divya Bharati. You know, now how Divya Bharati died. Shame on Shah Rukh, shame on Salman. What the fuck is Salman and Shah Rukh got to do with Divya Bharati's death? It happened in the night in her apartment, with only these Neeta Lula and her husband being there. How are Shah Rukh and Salman, responsible for that? But it is clear-cut Arnab Goswami's intention that he wants to put that plant into the people's head. Somewhere they're involved in it. Or why the hell would they be involved in that? And the same guy, I remember in Dubai, when Sridevi's thing, the whole conspiracy theories are going on, what happened, is it accident or not, blah, blah, blah. He was doing this whole thing in the Republic debate. And he said, my sources tell me her body was bloated. And how can it be bloated unless it was there for a very long time, which means Bonnie Kapoor is lying and blah, blah, blah. He was saying. And suddenly he looked at his phone and said, I just got a source confirming, like the Dubai police have tweeted that it is a case of accident. And he just dropped the topic as if it never existed. Just a tweet from the police. And then today he brings that back again. They are not satisfied. What are you doing for 2 years when you didn't even bother to ask for the autopsy report in detail and what you were talking about in the debate? So your mood, what interests you at that time and what catches your fancy at that time, and with the overwhelming one and only desire that he has to come across like a hero. He wants people to feel Karan Johar is shit scared of him, Aditya Chopra will come under the bed, Shah Rukh and Salman are bloody, I mean, bloody, they're shutting themselves off in their bathroom. What the hell is that?
How exactly do you plan to make the
Yeah.
film? What exactly is your plan? Is it going to be like a feature film?
See, it would be like, no, see, like right now, what's happening is if I want to dissect Arnab Goswami's debates, you can't do it because he controls the entire thing. Like debate by definition is about everyone gets their 2 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever dedicated minutes to put their point of view. In here, of course, that doesn't happen. Okay. So the tactics he uses to manipulate the psychology of the viewers is what I want to expose mainly. For which I'm going to take case studies of what is done, probably including this the Sushant Rajput case, for instance, because this is the latest topic. So I'm going to take like what is the most current topic, and then I just want to see an analysis of a kind of a dissective analysis of how Arnab Goswami's mind it completely manipulates it and what he wants to put across. So the audience can see because they saw him do that, and then in the film will explain in a dramatic way how it is done, how it can be done for that,
Right.
because
Okay.
this is something I pretty much I'm clear about how I want to do it, but it is a docudrama. It is not like a feature film. It's not like a biopic or Arnab Goswami. It's not like that.
So, and by when do you
Yeah.
think you plan to release it, and where do you exactly plan to release it, sir?
See, I think I am hoping to release the film by November. In early November is what I'm targeting.
Okay, and where do you plan to release it?
Let's see, on some OTT or let's see. In which way we have no idea about what theaters going to happen here.
All right. So you've made films like Satya and Company, for example, which have been which are considered as classics, and they're very journalistic in their approach, the way you've approached the storytelling, be it Veerappan as well, and even 2611. Several films, they have been approached in a very journalistic manner. But it is also said that there are times when you try to indulge in publicity stunts as well. So if someone would say that this is just a publicity stunt, and how would you respond to that?
How does it make a difference? If it comes out, it doesn't come out. I told my intention, and when it comes out, it comes out. If it doesn't come out, it doesn't come out. What's the big deal? They are not losing anything. The viewers only want to watch when it comes. But this is something I'm serious because I strongly feel about it, and which is what my series of tweets I try to project and portray in that.
All right, but do you receive any sort of like threats through the trolls on social media? Have you been receiving any threats, or how do you respond to it? Do you complain
Yeah, I
at
get
times
that
with
all.
this?
I mean, I think to take social media seriously, I think is about the biggest mistake anyone can do. They're like a bunch of, they're like completely workless and brainless guys, and the only job in life is to keep trolling. In fact, they troll everyone. I don't think they troll anyone in particular. And that very kind of a bunch is what Karan and Aditya Chopra, these guys are scared of. I can't just get over that. And what's the big deal about them being such big filmmakers? They make heroes and blah 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 everything. And threats on the social media, because they don't lose anything. Anybody can give any threat. It is almost like shouting from the darkness so that no one can see your face. And threats coming from anonymity, they don't bother me at all.
So you made a film called Run in 2010. It was also on television media, news media for that matter. So how do you think, how much has the news media changed in the last 10 years?
I think Run is a nursery school film. And I think like primary school or what to say, because it's gone far. I think media's direct thing is to do with speed, and the speed which you deliver news on, because to hold the interest of the audience, because very serious reporting they might keep cannot be done at the expense of characterizing an entire industry, calling them criminals, which is not about entertaining and making a drama. It is just plain lies at the expense of someone else's reputation. That is what I'm talking about.
Okay, but do you see any change happening?
See, I think a change can come only if these cowards, I mean, I love Aditya Chopra, I love Karan Johar, I love Mahesh Bhatt Saab, and it just beats me how they can be silent, man. I can't believe they can be scared of this guy and this so-called social media when they're being characterized like that. They've been there in the industry for some 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and they're allowing this guy to put a stamp on them forever in their life by not reacting to it and thereby accepting to the public that they're doing it. I'm starting getting doubts now. Maybe I am wrong and maybe there's something. Their silence is bothering me more than Arnab Goswami.
Okay, and so it is also being said the tagline that you have chosen for the film, maybe that is objectionable.
See, this man is calling us criminals, putrid, dirtiest industry, racist, and he almost exhausted every kind of the vilest word in the dictionary. Okay, and then if I don't use a strong enough word, I thought it won't be doing justice to it, which is the reason I wanted a very strong word.
And so, what if tomorrow there is a debate about you and certain allegations are leveled against you? How will you respond to that?
And that is fine. I mean, see, anybody can make an allegation on anyone. I can answer if I'm given that opportunity to. And which is what anyway in the course of what anybody does, there's nothing new in it. Anyone can make allegation on anybody. So what's the big deal about it?
So a lot of people from within the industry, they have one question that they look up to you because of the sort of wave that you ushered in the late 90s in terms of cinema. And it is said about you that one can never rule out Ram Gopal Varma because he can surprise you, because he can always surprise you with something brilliant and totally zap you. Now, when does that brilliance of Ram Gopal Varma will reflect once again, sir?
If I can decide that I want to make a brilliant film, I'll make it all the time. Any filmmaker can only try his best. You can't say that I will make it. In fact, as when they were giving me credit for Satya, I said, great films happen by themselves. No one can make them. In fact, 20 years back, me and Anurag or Manoj, we came up with Satya. None of us could better it. 20 years we can't better it means is what? Which basically means that Satya made itself. Great films happen. I strongly believe in that. You can just make a film and whether it happens, becomes great or not, is not in our control.
But sir, one last question. It is also said that whenever you are focused, you're a different director altogether. You're a different filmmaker altogether. But it is also alleged that maybe you lose focus at times.
See, something this also is being asked of me many times, and my answer has to be the same thing. Because why won't anyone focus? Like as a viewer, you are watching a film for 2 hours, and I'll be working on something for 6 months. And why won't I focus? Why would anyone make it deliberately? So this is all advice given by people who have no clue about how it functions. But it's easy to do it. So I'm just tired of answering that question because it's being so repetitively asking.
So thank you very much for your time, sir. Okay. And lovely talking to you as always. Thank you, Master. Take care.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.